What do most people do wrong in a fight? Being drunk. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. A+ Shakespeare reference. Paramedic here. Most of the assaults I go to are usually to treat the person that started it. It usually goes something like this: patient, usually male, heavily drunk, behaves in obnoxious fashion at pub/club/party. Someone tells patient to tone it down. Patient decides it's Hulk go smash time. Hulk removes shirt to show everyone how shredded he is. Hulk gets smashed. Hulk is threatening the one who smashed him with retribution when we arrive, like that's worked out well for him so far. Hulk gets angry at police because they want to charge him with creating a disturbance. Hulk gets taken down by police. Hulk is more injured than he was before. It pains me to say, however, that women are stepping up to the podium in these sorts of cases, and they can be just as terrifying as the men. Fight fair. Look, if it's a fight you don't have to have, you should avoid it at all costs. Only an idiot gets into a fight they don't have to be in. If you're cornered into one, then your goal should be to end the fight as quickly as humanly possible, with as little risk to yourself as possible. That means you don't stand there trading punches like a boxing match. It means you kick him in the nuts, you wrench an arm out of socket, you do whatever it takes to make them physically incapable of fighting back. Your goal is to survive without injury. You fight dirty, you fight to win, and you don't worry about any fair nonsense. Fair fight is what the loser cries about to explain why they lost. Bruce Lee wrote a ton when he hurt his back in a weightlifting accident, not an underground fight. One of them later became the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, which was compiled and published posthumously. In it he says basically what you were saying. He says something about how most martial artists are always concerned with fighting honorably, but when you look at it objectively you have to admit that fighting is a dishonorable practice, especially in the modern age, so why be hung up on honor? To that end he basically goes on to write a primer for what would later become modern MMA, where he finds the most effective techniques in dozens of martial arts and compiles them in one place. Try to go crazy and expend lots of energy when not needed to. If you act crazy enough you'll scare your opponent off though. No one wants to fight an insane person. If you get the opportunity I recommend peeing everywhere to mark your territory before the fighting begins. Take lunging punches. The running up then jumping punch is a lot worse though. This was really effective in Captain Commando, though. Mostly the in a fight part. But also the lesser known the other guy knew a fight had begun, but somehow I did not until I was already knocked out method. And then there's the timeless classic, I mean I never threw a punch in my life, but I lift a little and look how buff I am, where this other kid's small and wiry AF. Easy win maneuver. The I am slightly bigger therefore I must be the clear winner mentality. When I was in the military, I sparred with a guy half my size once. I figured I'd take it easy so as to not really hurt him. As an accomplished amateur boxer, discovered after the fact, he mopped the floor with me embarrassingly quickly. It was a good lesson to learn in a controlled environment. Who'd have thunk that my second most upvoted comment would be about the time I got my ass whooped by a dude half my size. First is about a cat. Think that they can fight. Most people think they can, they can't. Yeah, my friend did kickboxing in secondary school and loads of people didn't know this. A lot of people also didn't like him, so it was up to his friends to say if you fight you will lose and be humiliated, so please don't, and all of them would respond I could take him easy, and in the end, no they couldn't. From what I've noticed, most people that have not had any training just throw as many punches as fast as they can, hoping some of them will connect instead of having any sort of strategy. They learn from video games. Just mash all the buttons and hope something cool happens. One time I got into an altercation with a larger fellow and started to panic. I wound up quickly crouching down, then taking a quarter step forward while standing back up and also simultaneously throwing a jab, and much to my surprise a fireball flew out of my hands. Don't have much experience. What's best sort of punch to throw first? The guy is going to be throwing haymakers, so you need to avoid being hit in important areas like the head, throat and gut. While he's flailing around you just need to give him a few good jabs up the middle because his arms are flailing to the sides and leaving his middle wide open. A decent hit to the throat will end the fight quicker than you think. Why do most people start with a haymaker though? It's like it's their first instinct or something. Untrained people, including me, I just watch a lot of street fights and pro fights, tend to think if I can just get him with one or two hard hits they will go down. The truth is I have seen a skinny guy knock a ripped guy out in one perfectly timed punch. I have seen short guys take a bunch of hard punches and never go down. The guys who keep their composure and wait for the right moment almost always win. That being said, if you can avoid a fight you always should. People die from getting punched in the head all the time. Throw hammer fist slap punches. Not lock the wrist properly. Connect with the pinky side of the fist instead of the pointer. Hold their arms outstretched at their sides while talking nonsense. Stick their chin out while talking nonsense. Fail to use their elbows, knees, and kicks. Not keep an eye out for secondary threats. Not remain in control of their emotions. Stop before the threat is stopped. Watch the opponent's eyes as opposed to their hands. Talk to the police without a lawyer present afterwards. Edit, since this is getting some attention. Fail to use their hips and their legs to power their punches. Understand basic human anatomy and target the weak points, neck, knees, throat, temple, and etc. Remain stationary as opposed to moving around. Only throw punches and disregard chops, strikes, and pressure points. Have no understanding of Greco-Roman wrestling or BJJ if the fight goes to the ground. Not improvise any available object as a weapon for reasons of honor or fairness. Reason with an inebriated or enraged attacker. Turn their back to an active threat. Ask bystanders for help, Google bystander effect. Escalate to attempt to establish dominance/social standing. Not exiting the second the opportunity presents itself. Continuing after a fight is over. Do something fancy they saw on last night's MMA fight. If even trained fighters have trouble landing that cool-looking spinning back kick or flying triangle every time without fail, then an amateur would fail every time. Also, remember to keep your chin down, hands up to protect your head, and remember that you have hips and legs. On pavement, please don't do that. You can easily fall and hit your head and get serious brain damage or get slammed into the pavement. Either take it to a softer surface or don't fight at all. Just watch Boss Rudin's video Lethal Street Fighting. It's outrageously funny, and some of the things he teaches are not wrong. It covers pretty much everything mentioned here, plus a few weird ones like bouncing a guy's head off the ambience, tables, chairs, walls, and playing hide the hot sauce bottle once your opponent is unconscious. But there's also serious stuff. Joking aside, running people's heads into things is really effective. You're gonna get charged for it if you so much as thought about starting the initial conflict, but it's not ineffective if you're the victim and you're fighting to save yourself. Traumatic impact of the head on a hard heavy object is no joke. Seen a lot of fights, and been in more than a few. The loser almost always loses because they don't actually want to hurt the other person, though it's real hard for me to say that's wrong. Yep. I've seen people release a submission, because they abide by the tap. Next thing you know they release it and they're out cold. Release the submission but remain in position. And by release I mean keep it locked in but stop squeezing, for example rear naked choke. Or, in the case of something like an arm bar where if you let off too much pressure you're underneath them, keep hold of that arm and use it to get up. Basically, what I'm trying to say, agreeing with what Gotti Zeit said, is don't let go of everything just because they tap. Fight if you don't have to. People picking fights with you are better at fighting than you. If you have to fight, end it as fast as you can, as dirty as you can. If you're outnumbered, don't lock eyes with one guy, swivel your head, don't get surrounded. Keep your hands up, protect your head. At the first moment you can run. Protect your head. Get the first hit and no matter what. Protect your head. Protect your fucking head. Look up what self-defense weapons are illegal where you live. Some places let you carry a deagle, others won't even let you carry pepper spray. Edit, don't wander around in dimly lit areas at night. If you absolutely have to, go with 2 to 3 friends. Keep your chin tucked. Phones, wallets, and money can be replaced. One solid punch to the head can kill you, or cause serious brain damage. If he wants your stuff, just give it to him and walk away. Don't try to reason with someone coming up to you aggressively. If you see an opening to lay the fucker flat, take it and run. Fight dirty. Grab any loose object that you could use as a weapon. Don't break a beer bottle to use as a makeshift stabbing weapon, you'll just cut your hand open and it won't make the shape you think it will. Use an empty beer bottle like a club. Distract, misdirect, and sucker punch. Are you really going to start a fight in front of a cop car? Motioning behind them, then just throw your fist with as much weight behind it as you can. Protect your head. That's it for today, Team Astro. Have you ever had any similar stories like this? If you have, please let us know down in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos. Please consider liking and sharing this video and support us. Daily fun facts before you leave. You breathe on average about 8,409,600 times a year. Alright, bye.